Now, a new report released by Stanford University states the end of the decade, more than 1.2 million people in the United States will die an opioid-related death if new measures aren't taken to deal with that problem. Lawmakers, along with nonprofits, recovery experts, and first responders all working together to fight this battle. Joining us now, we're talking about the problem and solutions. We've got everybody here. Colleen Robertson, paramedic with the Chatham County Fire Department, Congressman Buddy Carter, Corporal Hiram Riviera from Chatham County Police Department, Patti Hewitt on the end there, the Democratic opponent for the 1st District of Georgia, and Sarah Holbach, who's a project coordinator for Beaufort EMS. Congressman, I'll start with you here. You obviously a pharmacist, so you've dealt with this for years. Now it's continued to grow as a problem. You're working to try to help stop this. How much more money is needed in legislation to try to help deal with this problem?
Well, certainly money is important, but money's not always the answer. There are people in Washington who believe that the way you solve a problem is to throw money at it. But this is a problem that has got to, that we've all got to deal with. It has infested all of our communities. Number one, we've got to shut down that border. That's where most of this is coming from. And we need to understand, we're not talking about fentanyl addiction here. We're talking about fentanyl poisoning. I made a big mistake in a town hall meeting. I referred to it as fentanyl addiction. And a mother corrected me, as she should have. And she said, no, my son took one pill and he's dead. That's poisoning. And that's what's happening here. It is fentanyl poisoning. So we've got to secure that border. That's one thing. But there are other things that we can do as well. I led a letter to the FDA encouraging them to make Narcan over the counter where people can buy it without a prescription. I'm often critical of the FDA, but in this case I applaud them because they did just that. Now there's no excuse. You can buy Narcan without a prescription, and everyone should have Narcan. Some of us can remember emergency box or medicine cabinet. You had Ipecac, syrup of Ipecac, fentanyl. Yeah. And now, because of fentanyl, we should have Narcan in our emergency boxes.
Well, Ms. Robertson, talk to me about that too. You've administered Narcan in the field. Is there any way to understand what that's like to do that to a patient?
Well, it's always very alarming at first when you come to somebody who's overdosing. It's a very alarming thing to see. Their presentation is very severe. And it's always heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to have to administer that to somebody.
And difficult too, because you don't know, criminal or otherwise, you're just trying to take care of them and solve it as a patient would otherwise.
Correct. You're just trying to help them. You just see them as a human being who's suffering.
Yeah, I mean, and now the two of you both deal with it on a different side, from that behavioral side. Corporal Rivera, talk to me a little bit about what you guys are doing in Chatham County to try to help on that level.
So in Chatham County, we've created a behavioral health unit to create not just the crisis response to when someone's having an active overdose or in a medical emergency, but the follow-up piece. Because what we find is there's so many underlying issues that need to be addressed before somebody can take control of their addiction and get themselves back on track. So what we try to do is spend that time with them and their families to try to understand the history about how they got to where they got with their addiction, and things that we can do to help reduce those barriers so they can get the appropriate treatment and receive the care that they need to keep themselves and their families healthy and happy.
Yeah, and Sarah, you talked about that before. That's the key to try to remembering how to get to them, and that stigma behind these are regular people, not just because they are addicts.
This is, everyone will know someone, or will know someone who has had a substance use disorder. It's not just oh, that's not my problem. It's everyone's problem.
Yeah, it makes a big difference out there. Ms. Hewitt, I mean, obviously huge problem, Chatham County and beyond for this district.
Right.
What are your thoughts behind it on what you would like to see done?
Well, I think we have a two-sided problem. We have drugs coming into this country, and then we have people that are using these drugs, or they're using drugs that are laced, to Mr. Carter's point, with fentanyl. The drugs that are coming into the country, well over 90% of those are coming in through our regular ports of entry, and they're brought in by U.S. citizens. So that is a big problem for us, because we have U.S. citizens that are being motivated and incentivized by the drug cartels to be mules for them to bring these drugs in, or to bring components of these drugs in, and then they're manufacturing the pills here. I think the tragedies that we hear so often, especially with young people, is that they will take something they buy in the black market or something they get at a party, and they won't realize that fentanyl is in that drug. And there's no real good way to identify that, because these look like normal street drugs.
Yeah. I've got a lot more to talk to you about when we come back about the patients, especially in those addicts, and what to deal with on that. We'll be right back with much more on our special report.